Hello, friends, and welcome back to In the Color Room. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Alicia. And what are we talking about today, Lauren?
We are going to be discussing the difference between passion versus profit.
Bum, bum, bum.
And we said product. Are we a product?
We're a product of our passion.
We're a passion of our products.
Oh. Okay. So where should we begin?
I feel like we both have very big feelings when it comes to this topic. And I feel like there's a lot of people who talk about this topic. It always comes off as very controversial. And I'm not sure why.
So trigger warning, this might be controversial.
And if you don't agree, let us know in the comments and let's hear your point of view. I'm always open to friendly discussion.
Yeah.
Like, let's not fight, but let's.
No, I like to hear people's point of view on it. It's just I feel
because we can only come from our own perspective.
I say from my perspective and what I've done to get to where I'm at. I had to do it a certain way, and I guess let's just jump into it. I personally feel like right now in the world we're in, TikTok, a lot of videos, even podcasts, I feel like we're promising young people coming out of beauty school or cosmetology school that you're going to make six figures walking out of school. Yeah. And I feel like that's very unrealistic.
Let's go. When I first started assisting, I was paid $5 an hour. So I don't know where six figures were coming from, but
it's possible to be a six-figure stylist, if not more than that, 100%. But it's working up to get to that point. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to come out of school and assisting because it's shit work. And I feel like I learned the most and I'm good at what I do because I assisted.
One of it is that I've come to realize with assisting, and this was something that I realized whilst I was still an assistant. Yes, you're a cog in a machine, but you're only as strong as your weakest link. In the sense of, without the assistant, realistically, the salon cannot function.
No, the salon that, and that's why I'm
because they're the ones. When I need a cape, when I need certain things, when I need color bowls, I've worked in a salon where there was no assistant, and that was what kind of made me realize the value of assisting. Because yes, you get hands-on experience, especially when you have stylists who are willing to teach you.
Yeah.
But I just remember being in that salon and doing the color bowls, and that was such a big thing because it was one less thing they had to do.
Yeah, and my thing is that it's not such shit work. Yes, there's not sometimes you have to do stuff you don't want to do, sweep the floor and stuff. But the salon,
easy.
The salon literally cannot run without an assistant.
No,
we depend on assistants. So I want to change the stigma, and I know some people like to call it apprenticeship or anything like that, and I think that's a good name for it because you are learning. And I feel I know for me, no one sat down and taught me how to do anything. I literally learned how to do everything by watching as an assistant.
See, I think there's a difference between apprentice and assistant.
Yeah.
Because I think assistant, and again, it goes with the stigma, but I think assistant is sweep the hair, get the coffee, wash the client, do what I'm telling you to do. While an apprentice, because it's an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So you're not assisting me, you're learning from me.
Yeah.
So yes, are you still going to, help to accommodate clients with getting them coffee and setting them up for color services and things like that? Sure. Are you still sweeping the floors? Yes. But it's also taking the time to hand foils and go in the back and go, okay, why did I do what I did?
I agree.
Let's learn from it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the main difference between assisting somewhere and being an apprentice somewhere. You have someone who's mentoring you because an apprentice is going to have a mentor, while an assistant.
Yeah. It's also just I just feel different places do things differently.
Absolutely.
Too. I just know starting out of beauty school, I didn't even do one. I did one men's cut on a mannequin head in beauty school. So how could I possibly go to a salon and do a bunch of haircuts that I don't know how to do?
Beauty school or cosmetology school teaches you how to pass the state board.
Yeah, literally.
They don't teach you the real life
stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time sitting in a hair class, and then it was a cutting class because cutting used to scare me. So I decided to take the first time I really truly invested thousands of dollars into myself and into my education was for a cutting class, which at the time, like if you had told me that while I was in beauty school, I would have been like, ha ha ha, no, because like cutting scared me. Color was my safeguard. So because it scared me, I'm like, let me jump into it. And having the conversation of like troubleshooting with, all right, somebody has a slightly flatter side of the head or they have a cowlick here. Like, how are we going to approach that? And I'm like, I never thought about that because most of the cutting I did was on mannequin heads where they don't have the hardest thing with a mannequin head is that their hair is sewn into their head the way it is.
Yeah.
So they don't really have cowlicks. They may have a strong part, but like it's just
so different. And so I feel like where passion comes into this is how passionate are you to build your books, to build your business in order to make that profit?
Are you going to have the discipline? Are you passionate enough in the industry to have the discipline to move forward in those rough times? Because let's be real, the first time you hit the floor, like after assisting, I feel like you get to a point where you're assisting where you're like, I could do this, I could do this, I could foil, I could cut, like whatever, and then all of a sudden you're on the floor, you're making commission, that cushion of that like X amount per hour is gone. And all of a sudden, you're the one in charge.
You're in charge. You're in control.
And you don't have someone going, hey, notice her cowlick, so let's part it this way, or let's make sure you don't cut that too short, or whatever it is. You're the one who has to call the shots. And then all of a sudden, if you have assistants that are under you, they're looking at you being like, so why are you doing that? And not in a mean way, in a wanting to learn way.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, now I got to explain to them why I'm doing this, but I don't even know I'm doing this right now.
Yeah. You're like, I did it one time at work, but this time it might not.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. And I feel like also like those situations where you always have someone behind you saying like, it's okay, or I'm going to back you up. I mean, like, yes, the owner backs you up, but like what happens when you get a client but
if I fry somebody's hair off, there's only so much you can do to back me off.
Like you're on the floor now and all of a sudden now you have the person who comes back. Like you don't want to deal with that. No one has to deal with like an unhappy customer or anything like that. So I think if you have that drive and that passion to be in this industry, which I feel like you very much need to have, then you can make it far.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, discipline too.
Because I think it is a discipline because you're not going to be good at everything. And I think, are we born being able to, like, are we, what's the word? Like, certain things we're more adapt to?
Yeah.
Sure. But, like, can you learn a talent? I think so. But again, are you going to have the discipline to do it?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's hard work. And I will say that, like, I worked long hours. I worked, I said yes to everything, even if I didn't want to do men's cuts. I hate men's cuts, but I do them. Like I would do them anyway, just because I didn't want to limit myself. I wanted to really build up my book and say like, I could do this, I could do that. And I feel like it's changed so much in this industry where people do specialize and they say no, which I think is great. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to limit myself and I want to make money.
I think that that's the generational difference.
And I agree. Like, cause I come from like a very hardworking family, and I'm like, I work, and like I feel like now I'm like, shit. Like sometimes I wish I wasn't such a hard worker because I would like to work like cushy hours and like say like I'm only working 9 to 5 today and I'm not taking anyone else. But I have the big L on my face because I literally say yes to everyone.
Yeah.
Like I literally, someone's like, oh, I can't make it at 5. I could do 6 though. It's fine. Just come at 6. No, I shouldn't be coming. I shouldn't have to stay later, but I do.
But again, but
different mentality.
It's a different mentality because at the time in beauty school, that was what you did. You took everything. You didn't say no to anything. You don't specialize in something.
They didn't tell us we could specialize in something.
Unless you were a celebrity stylist making freaking bank.
Or unless I feel like if you were in the city, then you would have a colorist. You would only do color or you would do cutting.
But that was a salon because I worked in the city. I worked in New York City and they were a compartmentalized salon where I had to choose. Which then, I did feel like I was cutting off a foot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I started coming through, because I assisted with you before I became a stylist here, and you're the one who was like, no. If you want to specialize in something, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. So I don't do perms, I don't do men's cuts, I don't do things like that. But you're also the one who was like, you're only going to work 4 days a week. Do it now. Well, you have the flexibility to do it. So that way, down the road, you're not going to be stuck like I am.
You're not going to be.
Well, so let's talk. But we can talk about that a little bit. What was it? 2020. We decided to or you decided to change up the hours.
I did
to help to accommodate the capacity we could have in the salon.
It would just be people felt uncomfortable. Like we have a big enough space that we didn't need to like, you know,
cram people in.
Yeah. But I just felt like sometimes it was like too many people.
It was on the verge of being a little,
and people were super uncomfortable with it. So we were still wearing masks. And so I decided to do, everyone kind of had like a 4-day week. As long as we got like 2 late nights in a week per person, it was fine. And it actually worked out better because we were open late. We were open until 8 o'clock every single night except for Friday. So it actually worked out in like the salon's favor. And I feel like our clients, because there's always someone here till 8. But I felt like for everyone's mental health too, it was really important because like we can get burnt out really easily.
And it also, I think especially during that time, because we were wearing masks, you're checking for capacity numbers, you're checking temperature, like it put a lot more responsibility on the stylist to make sure, because, and I think that I would imagine a lot of people are like this, or at least I can speak for the salon, that knock on wood, we never got anybody sick. We never had to shut down because somebody got sick. But I know that if we had gotten to, I know that we would have been gutted.
Yeah, no, I would have been upset. Yeah.
But but doing that was around the time that I was getting my chair, and you were quite literally like, okay, pick your day. And that's going to be your day, and your clients will eventually get used to the idea that you don't work Tuesdays. So I'm Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah.
Compared to you, who you took off Thursdays, and 3 years later, your clients are still like, what do you mean she doesn't work Thursday?
Because everyone's used to me working every single day, and I'm like, I have not been
12 hours a day
every single day since I had Savannah. And, you know, I used to take Wednesdays off, like midweek.
Yeah.
But, like, it just didn't work out. So,
yeah,
it was easier
Didn't
for me.
Didn't we do that for, like, a summer one time?
What?
Had, like, summer hours one year. We had something one year.
I don't remember.
Or something with
I don't remember. But I, like, Thursdays work for me because I get my 2 late nights in, back to back.
Yeah.
I have a day off with my kid, and then I'm here Friday. I'm only supposed to be here till, like, literally 2 o'clock on Friday, and I'm here always till, like, 5. But Fridays and then Saturdays.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I know people don't work Saturdays, but like I can't imagine not working a Saturday in this industry. Yeah,
I actually enjoy working Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I think that's because that's such a hairdresser thing.
Yeah.
And it again, I guess this goes into like the passion of it. I'm very proud of what I do. Like I'm definitely one of those people that like I very confidently would be like, no, I'm a hairstylist.
See, it's great for me because it gets me out of like family parties.
Absolutely.
I'm always like, don't invite me. Or if you're inviting me, just know if it's a Saturday, I'm gonna be coming late. There. No, or I won't be there.
Yeah.
Just bottom line. But.
No, my family now understands that like I'm gonna be coming late. You know, that took especially my dad a long time because he used to be like, oh, like on a Saturday, like what time is your lunch? And I'm like, Dad, we don't really have like a scheduled like, oh, 12:30, I'm taking my lunch kind of situation for the longest time. And maybe because he works in a union, he was like, they can't do that. You need a 15-minute break. You need lunch.
Yeah.
But he's now on board with it, which is fine. But he was actually the one that when I told him I was going to beauty school, we had the biggest fight. Because he came from the generation of you go to beauty school because you can't do anything else.
Yeah, literally.
And I feel like that, although that's not the same type of stigma, I do think people still look down in any service industry. Whether you're behind the chair in a spa, like mechanic, like anything where you're serving.
We're serving you. I didn't have a fight with my dad, but my dad's from her. He came to this country to better his children.
The American dream.
American dream. And he wanted me and my sister to literally be like doctors. And like my sister probably could have been a doctor. She's very smart. But me, it's not that I'm not smart. I was creative. I'm very like artistic, passionate. And so I had originally wanted to go to fashion school. And I was like, you know what? Like, you know, this is what I want to do. And then my guidance counselor was like, do you ever think about going to beauty school? And I was like, no, it never really crossed my mind. Yeah. And I was like, let me look into that. Because then I really sat down. And this is like the worker in me that I was like, you know what? I can go to beauty school. I could literally work my way through college and still be making money because like I'm not getting the scholarship. Like I'm not going to college like with
I ain't getting no free ride.
Yeah, no free ride. So when I sat down and told my dad that, he was like, you need to go to school. And I was like, I'm not going to college. And he was like, go to school 1 year and then if you want to do beauty school, then we'll talk. And I said, no, I'm like, I'm not going to spend $60,000.
I'm not going to waste the tuition money.
That
would really cost me my whole entire public
I know the next year I'm going to go to beauty school. And
I'm saving you money, buddy.
Literally saving you money. So I went to beauty school, and once I went to beauty school, didn't want to do a thing. This was the second I got in there, I was like, this is what I want to do. And here I am.
My dad was more okay with me wanting to pursue acting,
which is crazy,
than going to hair school.
Because this is more of a stable career. Yeah.
So I went to beauty school when I was in high school. I went to a vocational program. And which out of vocational programs, only 10% of the people who go actually continue this on as a job, like for a career. And I can only say, I think there's only 3 of us in my graduating class that I know still do hair to this day, like full time behind the chair. But my dad was raised by off the boat Italian grandparents. So I think he had the very much the mindset of, and he was one of 4 kids, and my Nana had her kids when she was really young. And so she was always working. So he was raised by his grandparents who, again, you have 4 kids and they came.
Yeah.
It was a very different time.
It's very different.
But so my dad, being my dad, did what he does best. We had a fight. My mom intervened. And then he sat down and did research. And I think at the time, and I remember hearing the statistic when I was in beauty school, but like, so this was like 2015, I think was my first year of beauty school. The statistic was showing that millionaires, a lot of them were in the hair industry, whether they were hairstylists who started their own brands, like that they were capable of making very good money for themselves. And I remember telling him that, and he went back and did research.
And we are very important people in people's lives. Like, you know, we hear, I feel like we always hear everything from people, but we are like a recession-proof job, and that's super important, especially in like today's world. Like, you might wait like 2 more weeks or even a month longer, but you're always going to get your hair done. And
studies have shown that women would rather get their hair, nails, and lashes done before paying their bills, which is insane to me. Yeah. Please pay your bills. But
it just shows like we aren't something to just look past. And I remember too, like when I was graduating high school, everyone like we had like this high school fashion show, and everyone wore like their like, you know, their shirts, and it was like where they're going and stuff. And everyone like other people's moms would come up to my mom and be like, "Where's Alicia going to school?" And my mom's like, "Oh, she's actually going to beauty school. She's going to Artistic Academy." And they're like, "Oh, are you okay with that?" And my mom's like, "Yeah, why would I not be?" And then I laugh now,
because I think it's funny because like your mom never went to college, and look at how successful she was.
Literally. And I was like, you know, I laugh now because I see where those people are today, and I'm like literally light years ahead of them. Like, I had my own business when I was 26. Yeah. And what were you doing?
That really blows my mind because I'm turning 26 in a few months, and I'm like, here we are. But again, different life paths. But going more towards like the passion versus profit, it is one of those things that I do think you have to have some kind of drive in this industry and the passion for it, because although, like, listen, I think anyone can get used to standing on their feet for the hours and yada, 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 whatever. But dealing with people, and I think anybody who's worked in as a wait staff, like, you know that sometimes people just want unrealistic things, and you just got to kind of smile and bear it.
I don't think, like, we literally deal with people all day.
Our job is people.
And I feel like it does take a mental toll on you, because, like, you're constantly, like, you know, I have 1 or 2 clients where I literally have to tell them that they are beautiful and there's nothing wrong with them, and they refuse to hear it. And it's like they're so hard on themselves. And
I think as a service, like from our perspective as a service provider, it's so hard to hear.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's also frustrating for me. I don't mean this in a mean way, but like, I'm literally telling you every time you're in here that you are beautiful, but you're not listening to me, and you're still telling me that.
It gets to the point where you're like, how many times am I going to talk?
Or like waste the air? One of my favorite is like when I say something over and over again, and then like Julie will come over and say the same exact thing, and they listen to them. I'm like, I've been telling you this
for years.
That's fine. But yeah, definitely passion. I feel like, you know, you have to have that want to be able to tell people they're beautiful, and like, and even have the passion to like create art every day. Like, it's a lot. There's a lot that goes on in our brains that I don't think people realize too. Because sometimes I don't realize what's going on up there, and I'm like, how did how did I just do that haircut? I can't replicate that if I try.
But you know, it's funny you say that because I think that, again, people don't realize the creativity that goes behind it because, like, you're asking an artist to paint a portrait every day and have it be amazing. Mm-hmm. You're asking us to do basically the same thing on living sculptures multiple times a day, mm-hmm. and then expect us not that will burn you out, but I think that sometimes the creativity can just be mm-hmm. very, like, if you're not in the right mindset or if you're going through shit in your own life, sometimes the last thing you want to do is hype somebody else up.
Yeah, it's hard. I've been like not in a good space and having to like just deal with people, and I want to like go home and cry because I'm like, I can't. Like, dude, sometimes
I want someone to tell
me I know when I'm burnt out. Like, I know when we're approaching our break, like, right, honestly, perfect example, right before Thanksgiving, we take off the weekend after Thanksgiving to give ourselves a little break. And I knew on that Tuesday, I was done. I was literally done with people. I was done with everyone. I didn't want to see anyone. I'm like, I need a break from everyone.
See, and I'm the opposite. I will keep going and going and going until some, like, and it's usually either you or my husband who is like, you need to stop.
Yeah. And
like, I am like a horse. I will keep going until I collapse.
Mm-hmm. So for me, like, my old boss, and I always like listen to her. She's like, in this industry, you need to take at least 4 vacations a year.
Okay.
Or take time off.
Yeah.
Every couple months, you need to take some time off. And I think it's very smart because it resets your brain.
Yes.
And I will say, I always feel so much better when I come back in here after being
I'm always
off.
ready. I'm always like, let me get my hands in some hair. Like, let me create some really beautiful things.
And I think because we give so much of ourselves to our clients, we need a minute to give ourselves, like almost like recharge our batteries, like juice us back up.
No, absolutely. You know? No, the longer I've been in this industry,
what am I doing?
You're juicing yourself back up? All right.
I can't.
You're like, give it to me in an IV. No, the longer I've been in this industry, the more I realize I very much appreciate my off time. Mm-hmm. Like, I like my weekends. I love being here, and I'll never complain about being here. But, like, especially, like, during this holiday season, like, where you're going. Oh, my God, those weekends, I'm like, nobody talk to me. Don't make plans with me. Don't call me. I'm not available. Unless you want to come sit on my couch because I don't want to drive.
Yeah. It's hard, though. And I also feel like now with, like, social media and stuff, too, like, our clients have access to
24 hours
a day.
I refuse.
And I'm sorry, even if you message me, I've been good. Like, I only answer during, like, business hours now. But if I see that message come through, it literally eats at me until I get back. Like, my stomach turns. I'm like, what do they want?
Couldn't be me.
See, I have to, like, so for the first time ever this past March, we went on a cruise, and I literally did, like, no social media. Like, I literally logged out of everything.
Good for you.
It was literally the best reset I've ever had. And I was like, that's what I need to do on every vacation is literally tap out, because you get the people who are, I know you're on vacation, but
no. If I say, hey, I'm going to be out of the salon on these dates, I will get back to your DMs. I do not mind if you DM me on my vacation. Mm-hmm. I don't care, because I have to say, I feel like 9 times out of 10, and I'm also very active on social when I'm on vacation, especially because, like, I like to go to Disney. I have a lot of clients who like to go to Disney. Mm-hmm. That, like, they're messaging me very sweet things or being like, oh my God, like, I love that photo by the whatever.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things. I feel like I either go to Disney or I go to the most random places. But it is one of those things I'm like, I don't mind if you DM me, but just know that you're not going to be getting a response.
Yeah.
Like, I will put in my little things, like, I will get back to your DMs when I am home. Mm-hmm. It's mostly when I'm sitting in an airport or in a car or whatever, but, like, I'll get back to them then.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because, like, I know you're on vacation, but I'm like, I'm not even home. So what? And usually we're on vacation, the whole salon's shut down. Yeah. So it's not even like I could be like, oh, like, you need a blowout? Oh, go to so-and-so. Like, what? But so where do you think the profit comes in for all this?
So I feel like people can lose their passion because they become greedy.
Money hungry.
And I feel...
Hungry hippos.
Literally. And I feel like you start to lose your drive and your passion if you're so focused on the money coming in. I will say this.
It is a business, so a bottom line matters.
Bottom line matters. You need to be making money. But I will say, I love what I do. If I was making a penny, I would still do what I do because I love seeing people's reactions, like making them happy and whatever. So I feel like when you say, I'm like, I need to make X amount of money, right? Mm-hmm. Which is very reasonable. Everyone probably budgets themselves saying, like, I need to make X amount of money to live. If I'm looking at it that way and I'm saying, I need to get Sally, Joe, Schmo, whatever, whoever in my book, they need to get highlights. They need to be in here. They need to be out of here.
I'm charging them. I have to get product.
In, out, whatever. What kind of service are you actually giving them? What are you actually giving them your full attention? Or is this becoming a chop shop and you're getting them in and out? And then your clients no longer trust you or want to come to you because they feel like they're being rushed. And I feel like that is not good. So my thing is like, is the money worth losing your client because you lost your passion because your eyes are only green right now?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to doing what you love?
I think sometimes that people need to remember, like, for me, I was 16 when I started beauty school. Would that 16-year-old be proud of who I am today? Mm-hmm. Like, in the work that I put out? Like, kind of like, you know, like when there's like, take it back for a second, like, or would she be like, I didn't join this industry to do this? No, but going off of that thought, again, you have the people who graduate beauty school and are promised the world, and now you have people who have online programs that you could buy that, I'll show you how to make 10 figures, or 10 figures, geez. How to make, I'm going high.
I'm going super high.
I'll show you how to make 6 figures only working 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And are there stylists who do that? Absolutely. Yeah. And do they still put out beautiful work? Yes. But are they 18 who just graduated beauty school? Most likely not. They have the years of experience. They have the clientele. Listen, I think that there is a price point for every clientele.
Agreed.
I think that you could charge thousands of dollars,
and there'll be people
who pay them. That. But it's also one of those things that, like, I know I see videos online of girls being like, oh, like a day in the life of like a stylist with me, and all that kind of stuff. And they're only doing 2 clients that day, or 1 client, and they're charging them $2,400. Is that possible? Yeah. But at 18, when you don't know, and not that you don't know, you're just not educated on how to work with different hair types and shapes, and
I just think there's
a level of education and expertise that go behind why you can charge what you can charge. I'm not saying that when you're 18 you should be doing everything for free, but your friends and family, those are the people you learn off of.
And I feel like, you know, again, going back to like money, so I feel like you said this to me once and it really resonated with me. Is that
the wisdom of Lauren.
When we're charging, obviously we need to charge our worth, right? Like, me and you, we're Moroccan oil educators. We've been in the salon for a very long time. Like, we charge what we charge for our knowledge. But at the end of the day, our clients, some people literally save up their entire paycheck to get their hair done. And I think people lose that.
Yes.
And, you know, they might say, well, these are my prices, and if you don't like it, too bad. But
we get desensitized to charging our prices.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really hard because, like, if someone's only making X amount of money and they literally like, I want my highlights, and that's like $300, that's a lot of money for them.
If you're only making, like, when I was an assistant working, what was it, $10 an hour at my old salon, I was only making about $200 a week.
So you would have to
save up. I would have to save up 2 weeks worth of my pay
without putting out anything else.
Not a car payment, not going out, not groceries, not nothing. I mean, I was living at home at the time, but let's just say. But still, you still go out with your friends. You still need to buy gas. You still want to go out shopping, whatever it is. But so I have to save up 2 weeks pretty much of my paycheck to be able to pay for a service as well as tip.
Yeah.
And like, I think of that kind of stuff because if I was that girl, I want to feel special in the chair. I don't want to get half-assed. I want to feel like I'm actually getting, like, oh my God, I've been waiting 6 months to be able to save up my money.
I saved up for this. Yeah.
I want to feel so important.
Sorry.
But I want to feel important. I want to feel good at the end of it. I want to have a good conversation with my stylist. I want to feel welcome.
Yeah.
Like that. Because again, we do this in and out every single day. Wash, rinse, repeat. this is something special for some people. And I know I have clients who come from families that they can't afford that kind of stuff. So coming and getting their yearly haircut is a big deal for them.
Yeah.
And to be someone that they feel safe around, someone that they say, I never had to worry about talking prices with you, like in the way that like you would make someone feel bad for not being able to afford you.
Yeah.
How can I, because then it becomes okay, my prices went up, or the price of life went up.
Yeah.
How can we accommodate you?
What can I do to work
What's
with
within your budget?
Now, but if you're so money hungry and you look past that and you're just trying to, they're always complaining about like how much I charge them, but I just want to get them in, get them out. Like, again,
then don't come to me. Then don't come to me. I hate that.
You lose your passion.
Because we're in the business of people. It's about passion and it's about human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not feel any empathy? Because it's usually those people who are the first ones to turn around and bitch and complain when something doesn't go their way. They didn't tip me. A tip is a gift. Always appreciated, never expected. Because at the end of the day, I'm still taking home my commission cut for my paycheck.
Yeah.
I listen, the tips on top, are they wonderful? Absolutely. But I still get a paycheck. Yeah. I'm not living off of my tips like that. If this was a tip only industry, different.
Yeah.
But I still get a paycheck at the end of the day.
It's hard. I do think it's hard. Because there's a fine line between all that. But again, it's I think if you become greedy and you start only looking at the profit that you're going to make. Yeah. But also, I just feel like the people who are telling you you're going to make six figures.
They're lying to you.
No, they're making a profit off of you. Well, so how do you think they're making six figures? Because they're starting a subscription that you're now paying $20 a month for.
And now they're no longer working behind the chair either.
Times how many people? Like, that,
which is, listen, good for them.
Which is great for them that they were able to do that.
Different strokes for different folks.
Correct.
But now I'm paying, $800 for their, 8-week program, whatever. They get the money out of me.
But they also might be in New York City, and I might live in a very different state who doesn't charge that much. Like we, we're educators, so we work with a lot of people
everywhere
from all over the country. And like the other day, I saw someone's pricing that works with us, and I was like, oh my gosh, she really doesn't charge that much, and she, like, not in a bad way, but I was like shocked. But then I was like, wait a minute, where does she live? Okay, it makes sense. We're closer to the city. We make more money, and I always say, what's the difference between a New York City haircut and a haircut in Jersey?
How much you want to drive?
The location, literally. Location. Like, or the difference between a $300 haircut and a $20 haircut is location.
Now, I think it's also important to charge your worth, which is everyone's favorite phrase on Instagram right now. I know how I kind of got over the fear of charging what we charge. And we're even not that, like, we're not the most expensive in the area. We're not the cheapest, but we're not the most expensive. Yeah. And I've never really had clients who bat an eye at our pricing. And if, when we talk about investment during consultation, things like that, I always do offer them, if it seems a little high, let's see what we can make work. And I actually heard this from Jamie C, Pretty Little Ombre, and one of her courses that I paid for, that now she's no longer behind the chair. I love her though, so it's fine. But she was like, you have to look at it as an exchange of energy.
Yeah. I like that.
Because like, let's say we were doing it for free. What would they be doing what would their trade back to me be? Are they a masseuse? Are they going to do a massage? Like what, and so like, look at it as an exchange of energy, look at it as an exchange of love. If they love their hair, and again, we've previously talked about the pricing of it. There's no sticker shock, but they love their hair. They're not going to have a problem paying it. And that has helped me just wrap my mind around it a little bit more, because I feel like there's so many times that we're like, this is a lot. As desensitized as we get to it, it's like, this is a lot, and then somebody else check them out.
We do get desensitized, but at the same time, we're also, I think because of the way we are, we're very realistic with people's like budgets.
Yeah.
And I feel like even for me, like I recently just raised my pricing, and I am like, don't want to make anyone upset, because
don't ruffle any feathers.
I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, but I needed to upcharge for me and stuff. So it's just hard though, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna like complain that it's too much money, and then like they literally pay and don't even question it.
But again, that's the difference between you're still giving them an elevated service. You are still continuing your education,
which I think is so important too.
If you're going to be charging a lot of money and not educating yourself, I would like to have a talk with you. I'd just like to talk. I just want to talk.
this industry is forever changing. So like I always laugh when I
week
go,
there's a different trend.
When I go and teach classes, I always laugh because they're like I'm like, you need to take, like, make sure you take your educational classes. And they're like looking at me and I'm like, I educate and I still don't think I know enough. Like I always want to learn more. I never want to get stuck doing that same haircut behind the chair. Like I have this like hunger to learn.
It puts a fire in your belly.
Yeah.
I know for me, and it's something that I tell newer stylists or assistants, go take any class. Go take any class. Your local distributors offer classes for $25 to $30.
Yeah.
They're like 3 hours. Like they're not just go. It, like at the time we were working with Redken here. I would take Redken classes. I would take any class, even if it wasn't with the products that we use, because the techniques can still be used.
Oh, absolutely.
From brand to brand. But it was one of those things. I would go every Monday, and they were, at the time, they were like $25 to $30. A hands-on class was $60, but those were things that I could comfortably do. $25 as an assistant, that's a day's worth of tips. Like if you wash 4 or 5 people and you get $5, there you go.
Yeah, they're done.
Like there's a class right there without having to sweat about it. Now, listen, I think that when you have the means to invest in higher education, I do think it's beneficial.
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't say one is better than the other. You learn different things compared, like a 3-hour class compared to a 3-day class. Obviously, we're going to go a lot more in depth.
Yeah.
But again, it was one of those things that when I then got to the floor, I was so much more confident.
Yeah.
And also for you, it showed you that I wasn't kidding. I wanted to do this, and I was going to do whatever I had to do it.
Yeah. It's sometimes you have to take your own initiative. Like, yes, salons can help you and like pay towards whatever, but at the same time, like it shouldn't
show me you want it.
Show me you want it, and like don't just take education.
Don't tease
just because I'm paying for you in that moment. You're only going because I'm paying for you. To me, that's like you don't really want to learn. I'm forcing you to go.
Yeah.
So again, passion. Or profit.
Yeah, because it was also one of those things that I knew that taking classes was going to look good to my employer, because it was going to show you that I wanted to know more. I was hungry for it. But it's also one of the things that at the end of the day, regardless of what salon you're at, because I was doing this before I came here, no one can take your knowledge away from you.
Yeah.
It's in here. It's not a physical thing. No. You can shred my diplomas that I have in a folder collecting dust somewhere.
Yeah.
You can get rid of all that kind of stuff. Take away my shears, my blow dryer, all my tools. The knowledge that I was able to gain through those classes, even if it was one tiny thing, were big game changers. And there's something you can't take away.
Yeah, you can't.
But they were things that behind the chair, when I worked in the curly salon for a while, how many of our curly clients, when I was assisting, was like, no, I want Lauren to do it.
Yeah.
Because I had a different technique from it.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it's hunger, it's drive, it's passion, compared to looking at coming to work as a means to an end.
Yeah, like if you're coming and just like I said, you're coming in and you're like, I need to make $1,000 today.
So, and someone cancels, so I'm going to upcharge this client to make up for that.
It's not right, and it's like, again, you lose your passion. And again, I
think people choose this industry for the wrong reasons.
If you're choosing this industry solely to make money,
why?
But I don't think it's right. That's like me being like, okay, I no longer can do hair, and I want to make a lot of money. I'm gonna be a nurse today, but I hate needles. I hate this. I hate that.
I don't want to work with people. I don't care about healthcare.
I could never do something I'm not passionate about. And I think that's what I'm very fortunate that like I do what I love.
Yes.
So like it never really feels like work to me in a sense. But I guess some people aren't that lucky.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine like just going to work and like not really caring.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've had friends who had gone to school for things like nursing things, and they're like, it's a shitty job, but like
the pay is good.
And I'm like, I would not want to be on the opposite side of that. Like, I would not want to be in the hospital bed with a nurse who was like, I don't really care, but
it's fine.
I only work 3 days a week anyway. I'm not saying that all nurses are like that, but
yeah,
it's just. But yeah, I think it's very easy for people to get greedy because we could technically charge whatever we want to charge. I could charge $100 today. I could charge $500 tomorrow.
Yeah. but you have to start somewhere. And I
Yeah.
feel like you have to build up. You can't just go from 0 to 1,000. I think you need to like take baby steps. You need to learn what you need to learn, and put that drive into building yourself up. And then one day you can say you make that 6 figures or whatever it is.
Whatever your goal
is. And this industry has so many different avenues that you can go down.
Absolutely.
That can help you reach those goals.
Absolutely.
But you got to see where it takes you.
You know, it was one of those things. I was in a class one time, and I remember the educator, I looked up to them so much, and I was getting really frustrated. It was in the cutting class. I was getting really frustrated, and he looked at me and he was like, we were all new at one point. Mm-hmm. The people that you look up to in this industry had a day one. Mm-hmm. So they didn't come out of the womb, let alone beauty school, knowing how to cut Lady Dow Sassoon. No, they had their struggles and they had to strive for things too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's humbling. And B, it also just kind of puts things into perspective of like, when you're a new stylist, especially, like, oh my God, like, I want to be like so-and-so. Well, they've been doing it for 35 years. You're 20 years old. Mm-hmm. You will get there. Give yourself grace and give yourself time.
Oh my God, like if I could go back and if my 19-year-old self saw where I am today, I would have never guessed it. I literally cried in the back room because I didn't cover someone's gray hair. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, or like I gave someone a haircut and they had like, you know, 4 long pieces, like, cause no one ever showed me how to do that. Yeah. But I didn't let it like deter me. I wanted to do better. And like, there's no way, like, I can't imagine myself charging what I charge now coming out of beauty school.
No. Oh my God, no. Even just thinking about that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that, like, especially now, and I do specialize in things, I'm very confident in my work. I love the work I put out. I'm very proud of my work. And I know that, like, again, 16-year-old Lauren on her first day of beauty school would be shocked at what we're able to do now and the confidence that we have behind it and what comes easy to me now. But again, I couldn't. I remember doing the balayage. I specialize in balayage. I remember doing a balayage for the first time, and it was, when I tell you, fucking horrendous. Horrendous. I still have a photo of it. It's on Alexis.
Oh my God.
I still have a photo of it. And I always want to, like, I really want to do a post where I'm like,
you should compare.
Who started from the bottom, now we're here. Like, where we started compared to.
But can you imagine charging? Could you imagine charging $1,000 for that? No, you'd be like, oh my God, what did I just do?
I would vomit on the floor and crawl under a rock.
So, like, I feel like our message, like, I feel like we should wrap it up.
Yes.
I feel like, for me, this is the message I want to put out there. You can make 6 figures.
I'm putting sentimental music under it in my head, just so you know. She's inspirational. The cat doesn't have one eye.
Okay. So what I will say is, if you want to make 6 figures in this business, it is possible, but you have to work towards it. You have to have a passion. You need to have a drive. Is it possible? Yes. Are you going to get it coming out of beauty school? I highly doubt it.
Listen, nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible, but I just feel like work in a salon, see what it's like. Make sure you actually love it. Find a place that you really love. Build up your clientele, and it's possible. And that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And don't lose your passion. Don't get greedy. Is money great? Obviously, everyone wants money, but
it's nice to be comfortable.
But don't forget, your clients love you, and like, you should like love your clients too. It's not just about money. There's more to it.
Do I need a message?
What's your
my heartfelt message? Don't be an asshole. Like, don't like, on a real note, don't be that stylist that hates what they do and resents it when you used to love it so much.
Yeah.
Don't be that person. And I know that sometimes it can be hard to not be that person, because it's just the curveballs that life will throw at you and everything's so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things of like, just remember your humanity.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like, remember that, like, these people, you're only a part of their lives. They're the main character in their own life, just how you're the main character in yours. they may be going through their own shit. So like being greedy about all that kind of stuff, it's not going to do anything but make you hate and resent what you do. And I couldn't imagine wanting or letting myself get to the point where I would hate something I love so much and hold so dearly to me and that I'm so proud of. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't want to be putting out some half-assed work with my name on it because we both worked as Infinity. Sorry, I was trying to hold it. Okay. No, but we both worked as individuals as well as, you know, you've worked for your business's name, which obviously I'm connected to as a stylist who works here. To have a reputation of doing good hair, being nice people, I wouldn't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
I would never want to like be like, yeah, the hair she does is nice, but she's very expensive and, you know, she's not going to be there, like mentally there half the time.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because that ain't worth it.
Cheers to that, my friend.
Cheers to that.
I will see you on our next episode.
Bye.